Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 93 of The World Which Is. Automaton Patrol Level 10. Because humans prove unexpectedly stubborn and refuse to die off, the computer had to spend resources into protecting the cities it controlled. Perception check failed. The 6 of them make us work for it, but we take them down. As we rest, I look over the description, trying to figure out what bugs me about it. Then I see it. Cities, plural. It's as if this ruin exists in something that goes beyond itself, or that it's telling a story. It reinforces the idea it came about around an amusement park. Grandpa Lewis has talked about some of the places he drove to before the system appeared, and there was an amusement park in Arkansas built around a Western movie. It makes sense that such a park in a military town could have a technical apocalypse theme, and that it that it would be carried over when it became a ruin. When the healing potion stops having an effect, I'm just about 3/4 point. The 3/4 mark. I stand. We good to go? Brandon hasn't healed, but his health is around the same point as mine on the team list. Considering he's higher level, he's in better shape. He spent the time we rested going through the remains and taking their loot. Because there is loot now. Because now there is loot. Each encounter since the building has given us loot. Nothing impressive, but that's a change from before. Did we pass a threshold? I'm tempted to ask Brandon if that's a thing with ruins to go along with zones, but I haven't. Not sure why, but each time I think about it, I can't shake the feeling it's a bad idea. The first thing we found in the loot is, conveniently, a map of the patrol routes. It's just a paper with them marked in what could be pencil, as if the automaton had taken it off a human it killed. It doesn't let us avoid all of them, but it gives us an idea where to go to avoid as many of them as possible. And how nearly all of them intersect with that building Brandon has decided is the ruin's heart. I've let it be our guide, although that's about to change. All looted, he said. Anything useful? Ellen asks. We won't know till we reach the heart. Meaning there's no healing or mana potion. I thought those were standard in these kind of things. He smirks at her. When did you become an expert on ruins? When you're saying there shouldn't be one or two at every encounter? He definitely doesn't like having that pointed out, but then he smiles. I'm saying I know better than to expect anything. Cute save, Brandon. We follow the map for 2 more intersections, staying off the patrol routes. Then when Brandon has left, I grab his arm. We're going in that direction. I point ahead. He checks the map. There's nothing in that direction. That part is nothing more than quick lines hinting at buildings and the street between them. Nothing there looks like it matters, unlike where all the patrol routes converged. And no patrol. I don't know why I'm not telling him where I think the heart actually is. Dennis, that's more reason not to go in that direction. This was the drop we were waiting for. That's how ruins are. Somewhere along the loots will be clues and keys to get you to the heart. That they are clearly patrolling around where the gold is kept, which makes this the heart. What if the ruin is designed in a way to make you misinterpret the clues? I look around. Is that what's nagging at me? I'm misinterpreting something about the ruin? Dennis, are you listening to me? We're going that way. I walk ahead. Ellen and Silver follow. Then Brandon joins us. But why? I almost tell him. Tell him about how a lot of movies will misdirect the watcher, then pull a reveal. And no matter what, this feels like a movie to me. Why don't I? That nagging sense. I'm missing something about this place, or I've picked up on it, but it hasn't resolved into the solution. into a solution. It's happened a few times watching movies, but there I barely had to wait an hour at most to either be told or work it out fully. It's been hours of this nagging, and it's really getting annoying. You really shouldn't be keeping secret from us, Dennis, he says, and Ellen snorts. We make it 3 intersection without incidents, plural. Then a group of automatons burst through the wall of the buildings like they'd been waiting to ambush us. 10 of them. Automaton Patrol, level 10. Because humans prove unexpectedly stubborn and refuse to die off, the computer had to spend resources protecting the cities it controlled. Perception check failed. The fight is hard. If they'd been a different design, if one of them had range attacks, I think we'd have had fled. As it is, we need a break, and the sun's getting close to the top of the trees. We need a place to camp for the night. Brennan looks at his map before realizing the futility. We're off what it covers. Take your pick. This is a housing neighborhood. The house we choose is in good condition, all things considered. The living room's seen better days. The remaining picture on the wall are of a couple, 2 women, clearly in love. I catch myself feeling sad for them, and I have to wonder if that's the point. If that's the story this house is telling. They were in love, bought a house to move in together. Then the apocalypse hit. In a movie, I'd be related to one of them. Maybe I'd be here trying to find out what happened to them. Fuck, what am I missing? The dining room's the most secure place, Brandon said, barely glancing at the pictures. One door in the middle of the house, so we're going to hear anything coming in before they reach us. You think those automatons will break in during the night? Silver asked. Nah, he replies, moving the remnants of the dining table to the side. Ruins always provide safe place to rest. This is clearly one of them. How many movies have I seen where the characters thought they were safe for the night, only for that not to be true? Let's not be careless regardless, I say. We'll keep watch. Alan, Silver, which one of you wants the first one? We settle that. I get food going, then try to put all the nagging aside as I sit for my ether training. The attack comes during Brandon's watch, and that might have saved us. I'd gotten back to sleep after my watch and had trouble focusing. Ellen was barely conscious, and Silver not good enough with her explosive music to fill that gap. Brandon, on the other hand, gets more effective when he's pissed. He takes down 4 of them by himself. Me and Silver manage to hold up the other 2 until Ellen is finally awake enough to blow it up, along with half that side of the house. Safe place, huh? She tells Brandon, glaring. It should have been. Emotions around us. This is an enclosed living structure with a few access. They were safe the previous times. That should have been the pattern establishing that what's safe and what isn't. Then he stares at me and I can see the realization hit. I shake my head when he opens his mouth. Ellen and Silver watch us. Then Ellen drops on her bedroll. Just wake me once the sun's up. Are we safe? Silver asks. Me and Brandon will keep watch. Are we close enough to reach the true art before the next night? She moves her bedroll close to Ellen and goes back to sleep. Why don't you want me to say it? Brendan whispers. And I finally understand why. Not that I can tell him. Every change happened after one of us pointed out the detail that stood out. Which means the ruin is listening in. Brendan never talked about that aspect, but it isn't like I asked before, and I can't now. I shake my head. I have to hope he'll work it out on his own for now. The rest of the night is uneventful. I have breakfast ready before Silver and Ellen wake up, and she plays a song before we get moving that reduces my didn't sleep well debuff until I can ignore its effect. We run into a patrol almost as soon as we exit the building. 5 level 15. Me and Brennan go at them hard, and I, at least, pay the price. But we get our first healing potion from the loot, and it's decent enough. I don't have to use one of mine. I also gained a level out of this. So, Grit Strike is at 5. One more and I get healing magic. I also raise my dexterity training to 26. My second train in that skill has got to help. Even if it only leaves me 1 skill point for an emergency. But I will need a new armor well before we leave this at this rate. Brandon spots the next patrol before we're in their detection range, and we go wide around them, which takes us to a hole in the ground the size of a block. What happened here? Ellen asks. Nothing. Brennan replies as I look in and immediately step back. Fuck, that's steep. A shudder runs down my spine. and I have to chase away the feeling of falling, the pain of hitting the ground, the fear of nearly dying. You okay, Dennis? Silver asked. How about we keep going? Just looking in its direction is enough to trigger the memory again. 3 intersections in and two 209s stand in our way. This makes no fucking sense, Brennan mutters as we hurry into a building. I peek out the window. They stand there, waiting. I'm pretty sure they aren't close enough to the heart for them to be the final bosses. First, it's in a building, but nothing warranting something that high level. And now 2 of them in the middle of a road to nothing? His chuckles half-hearted. Well, at least once we tell the club about this place, we are going to be famous for discovering the weirdest ruin in existence. If there's a club for you to tell to, Ellen points out. He groans. And I finally managed to forget the world as we know it might be ending while we're having fun. We can't take them on, I state, and Brandon glares at me. Really? You only figured that out now? I'm saying it before you explain how you're going to take them on while we do something else. He stares at me harder. Do I look suicidal to you? We all stare at him back. I'm not. We keep staring. I swear I am not. You took on an entire gang back in Detroit, Ellen points out. They took me on. I was just hoping to talk. And you didn't call for help, I state. You took on a lich, Silver points out. I thought he was just an old man. And you didn't call for help, I say. That's me being stupid, he snaps. Not suicidal. He closes his mouth and a little click of teeth, and he looks surprised. My brother admitting he did something stupid. Ellen said pensively, that's progress, I guess. Bringing this back to the problem at hand, I say, how are we doing this? We go around them, Brendan says, and I mean a few blocks around them. I don't trust their detection threshold anymore. Too many things don't make sense in this place. We sneak from building to building until too many of them are between us and them to let them see us. Yeah, that's clunky. Too many buildings until enough of them obstruct. Actually, you know what? Until we can't see them anymore. There we go. Nice, clean, short. I'm not entirely certain anymore that we're in the right direction for my target until we come across two 209s standing in our way. We didn't go around without knowing it, did we? Silver asked. At this point, Brendan grumbles, looking his map over. I'm not putting anything past this place. Crumbles it and throws it aside. But no, the buildings are wrong. These are 2 more of those automaton, which means there's something here. So we keep going around? Ellen asks. How wide do you think their threshold is? I ask. He shrugs. Larger than the one we fought in the building. Otherwise, it'd be too easy to walk past them. Dennis? I'm annoyed I didn't think to use this before, but the ruin is listening to us. Brendan. That's not a thing. Dennis. Good to know. Explain to me how it keeps adjusting things after we point out inconsistencies. He glares at me. Dennis. Do you think the range is more than 1 block? Brendan. It might not be that. The width of the road is probably it. Just enough to make it impossible to walk past. What's your plan? Dennis. There are a lot of buildings between the roads. Why don't we travel through and around them instead of on the road? Silver. Couldn't there be other things among them? Dennis. Worse than those 2? Ellen. I'm game to try it. Worse that happens is we need to go back and keep searching for a way through. The others nod and we set about sneaking closer. It's too easy. Those words keep popping through my head each time we avoid a patrol by not being on the street. Each time I catch a glance of the building we're heading for. It's too easy. Anytime it's this easy in a movie, things are about to get a whole lot worse. I don't tell the others that. There's no point in turning them to into the nervous wreck I'm becoming. When I look around the building and see the undamaged low one in the center of a courtyard, it's too much. This is bad, I whisper, leaning against the wall. This is so fucking bad. I don't see anything, Silver whispers. Exactly, I reply. You tell story, Brendan says somberly. How would you build one around this place? How would you build the tension for your audience as you tell it? You've worked it out, I say. Yeah, and I still say it makes no fucking sense, but there's no denying how this run works. We're in the middle of a fucking story. Who's telling it? Silver asks. My hackles stand up. No fucking way. I look around. I look at the building again. How did I not see this coming? Dennis? Brennan asks as I leave cover. What are you doing? We don't mean you any harm, I say as I walk. Brennan is next to me. Look, of all of us, I'm the best candidate for suicide, so how about we turn around before whatever trap this story has blows up under us? I just want to talk. I dodge Brendan's attempt at grabbing my arm. Silver said it. Whose is telling this story? She and Ellen have joined us. It's a ruin, Dennis. Except that as a ruin, nothing makes sense. You said that. I nod toward the building. Our storyteller's in there. You think someone's controlling all of this? Ellen asks, dismay mixed with awe. This doesn't make any sense. Brendan grumbles. No one's that powerful. I think you've been alone for too long, for a long time. I think you've been alone for a long time. We're not going to hurt you, I promise. Like we could? Brandon mutters. I finally relax when we're halfway to the building's door and nothing's blown up. In a movie, this would be exactly when things turn bad. But what would happen if those characters could talk to the filmmaker? What if that filmmaker wasn't just making a movie to entertain, but dealt with real life people? I'd like to think if they'd hesitate to continue with the story as scripted, that maybe they'd remember that they should have people around them. I don't like that. That maybe they'd remembered. But I don't know how to shift it. I'll leave that for second draft. My heartbeat picks up when I put my hand on the door's handle. Moment of truth, as they say. I turn it and push the door in. The only thing in the room is an icosahedron floating a meter off the ground and glowing slightly. Hi, my name's Dennis MacLeod. What's yours? And that concludes chapter 93 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is up for free on Royal Road. If you want to read ahead of that and support me in the process, that is on my Patreon, where we're about a dozen chapters. Well, maybe not that much. There's been delays. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. Links are in the notes. And with that, I shall wish you a good day.